Hey, what's up, guys? Ken here from the Retro Toy Escapades channel in Malaysia. I hope that everyone's doing good out there. Now, it's been an interesting last couple of hours, I would say, because the internet seems to have been exploding with tons of new Masters of the Universe revelations. Yeah, well, Revelations is the name of the new cartoon series that's coming out, but we're also getting revelations of new toy product. And I was in Instagram in the morning, and I noticed that artist Axel Jimenez had shared a post of the new Buzzsaw Hodak figure, the deluxe Buzzsaw Hodak figure. And we got to see images of the card artwork. And also, what's interesting was the cross-sell section of the new range of figures. And, I was looking out for Mosquito, but I didn't see him there. However, there was something else that was really interesting, and that was a cross-sell photo of the Wind Raider. Now, I think that all of us pretty much expected that the Wind Raider was going to turn up in Origins at some point. It does seem like one of the easier vehicles to manufacture and put out there, and also it is pretty iconic. So we got to see the cross-sell photo of the Wind Raider on the card back of the new deluxe figure, and then a couple of hours later, it seems that photos of the actual toy in package started hitting the net, and I was like, whoa, man, what else is coming? Okay, so I'm looking at the images here, and I just felt that I wanted to talk about it with you guys and hear what you guys think about it and have to say about it. Also, I do want to know if everyone's excitement level is currently at an 11 out of 10 when you're looking at these pictures here. Come on! Now, firstly, the Wind Raider as a classic Masters of the Universe toy vehicle, I would say it's not one of those items that I ever actually felt a real sense of affinity towards. Maybe it's because I never actually saw it for myself when I was growing up. All right, I would be at the department store, almost every other weekend, or maybe about 2 times in a week. Okay, I would sneak out, to head down to the department store that was actually located pretty close to where I was living back in the day. And I would sneak out and head down straight to the toy store or any store that would carry toys. And I did see a lot of Masters of the Universe product at the time, but not so much when it came to the vehicles. I'm not sure why that was the case, but probably the stores at the time didn't really bring in more of the maybe the larger vehicles or things like that. They concentrated more on the figures because I think those were probably easier to sell and to stock up on. But having said that, I do remember the one time, and you know what, you're not going to forget something like this when it happens to you, especially when you're a kid. But I do remember the one time that I did come into contact with the original Castle Grayskull in box, and I was able to hold it for myself in my hands and just stare at it and dream of the day that I would finally be able to own it. Okay, as it turns out, that day would come many decades later. Okay, yeah. Now, many years later, when I started getting into toy collecting, pretty much full time, I would say, I started to get back into collecting Masters of the Universe. And I have to say that I did have to kind of like relearn and research back on what was actually available in the classic series at the time. Okay, I do remember seeing a lot of these things, as I said, but when you get back into a hobby after something like maybe almost 2.5 decades later, you kind of need to jog your mind a bit. You're like thinking that, oh, right, so they had that thing there. And I think that a lot of vehicles, other than the standard ones that everybody remembers, like maybe the Battle Ram and things like that, a lot of vehicles that came out in the series, I have to say that I either forgot about them or I had basically no recollection of them being around at all. And part of the pursuit in completing the collection was to eventually try to get my hands on every single vehicle that was actually in the line. I have to say, at some point, I did get quite a sizable amount of items, and I think what happened over the course of years, I did end up trading some of them for other items. And the Wind Raider, the classic Wind Raider, is not something that I currently have in my collection, but I did have it at one point, And I do remember it being such a frustrating experience because it seemed quite fragile. I think the wings were on these really small tabs that just cracked very easily. And there were items that were missing. I didn't have a complete one, it just had the basic structure, not a complete vehicle. Uh, I did find myself thinking that the overall shape of it was kind of like a. It did remind me of a bathtub, okay, like a bathtub that somebody would just lie in, and then they just slapped on some wings on it to make it something that was able to take flight. Now the artwork on the package is spectacular as always. Now you see He-Man taking flight in the Wind Raider, and I just wanted to say that I really like the expression of what appears to be sheer determination and grit on He-Man's face here. Yeah, he's a man on a mission. I just wished that they could have somehow captured this look on his Origins action figure, like somehow found a way to replicate a look of this steely determination in the actual toy itself. That would have been fantastic. Over in the top right corner of the image, you see this visual here of what appears to be three flying craft giving pursuit to He-Man. Okay, I don't think they're backing him up or kind of like tailing him to offer him some support or things like that. No, I think they're giving him pursuit. Okay, they're after him, and if you look closely enough, well, you kind of have to strain until your eyeballs practically pop out. But this is intended to be a tease. It does look like the outline of Skeletor and two of his henchmen in what appears to be a flying craft that looks like a more maybe an evil version of the Wind Raider, like a recolored version meant for the bad guys. Okay, and it looks to be like blue and maybe a little bit of purple, something like a dark Wind Raider. What do you guys think about that? Something like this has never actually been attempted. There's never been like an alternate version of the Wind Raider meant for the bad guys. But, they could be doing something like what they did with the Sky Sled, in the sense that, the Sky Sled could also be operated as a vehicle for the evil warriors. That could be what they're planning here, all right? Either way, I'm pretty sure that they didn't just put this visual here for nothing, okay? They're trying to tell us something. They're going someplace with this thing, and I'm telling you guys, something's coming. It could be an exclusive. It could be a pricey exclusive. So, hey, you guys just better stand by your wallets, man. Now, we also get a very clear shot here of the Wind Raider in package. It's like you're looking at the whole toy in itself, okay, just, unassembled. And it's great that, first of all, from what I can see here, it's great that the stickers are already applied. Okay, they're pre-applied. Because one thing that I hate is trying to apply stickers to toy vehicles. I mean, it's not like I can't do it, but it's just time-consuming, and you really have to get your headspace correct in order to make sure that everything's aligned up correctly. Okay, everything's just in alignment. And even the stuff that comes from the factory, that's pre-applied, sometimes they got it on crooked. I'm not sure why. Okay, these appear to be in great straight condition. Okay, and it looks good. All right, the stickers do bring out a lot of the detailing, sometimes more than actual than if they were to sculpt the bits in. Sometimes the stickers do make the vehicle look a lot brighter. And if there's one thing about the Wind Raider, it's that it sure is bright and colorful. Now, the vehicle does look to replicate most of all the original's action features, primarily that of the grappling hook and the winch. Now, this is a pretty nostalgic feature. The way it works is that you get this large, giant, circular knob-like thing in the front of the vehicle that you basically need to just turn in a clockwise motion. Just turn it like you're winding up a clock. Turn it and turn it and turn it until the grappling hook just rises all the way to the top, together with whichever thing that you wanted lifted off the ground. Maybe it's a figure, maybe it's a piece of weaponry, whatever it is. As I recall, this operation worked pretty okay with the original. They've probably enhanced this new one to make it even better. All right. Also, to the side of the packaging, you can see where the two sets of wings are carefully packed. Now, I would assume that the only assembly required for the vehicle would be that of the wings and probably the tail fin that's attached to the back of the vehicle. And based on the photos that we're receiving as well, it looks like Mattel has generously decided to give us a display stand for you to park your Wind Raider in a hover position. Honestly, this is just a fantastic option for us to have, all right? Because the original Wind Raider, hey, look, you know what? It didn't come with something like this, okay? They didn't think of like, stuff like display stands back then. But this display stand that they're giving us isn't just an ordinary display stand. No, man. This thing looks pimped out, okay? It's got like this computer console thing that's probably to run diagnostics, schematics, whatever. And also, if you notice at the base, the color and the design of the base is supposed to interact with your Origins Castle Grayskull. Hey, look, you know what? I wasn't expecting this. Okay, this is just freaking amazing. All right, you've got the ability to match up or pair up your Wind Raider with your Origins Castle Grayskull. Now, they have given us a base and a display stand previously for the Sky Sled as well. But I gotta be honest with you, okay? I hated the way the base on that thing looked. And the Sky Sled to begin with was never really an official vehicle to me, okay? I only got it because, it was, hey, look, it was Masters of the Universe and it came with the Prince Adam figure. But the vehicle itself, you know what, it's okay, but it's not based on something that actually was derived from the vintage line. And maybe, that's a big part of the reason why I just couldn't connect with it. Now, I did get to thinking, what if, Mattel's going to be giving us display stands like these with all of their flying vehicles? And, if that's going to be happening, then how cool is the freaking Roton going to look like when it's positioned on top of a display stand? Because it's coming, okay? They're definitely going to be giving us the Roton pretty soon. And you know what? It's just going to look so freaking amazing being able to levitate the damn thing on a display stand, all right? On an official display stand. Come on, think about it. Actually, the original Wind Raider, as I recall it, did have a set of wheels underneath the base of the vehicle, and this allowed you to be able to roll it around and move it on a surface if you needed to. That was just an option that they provided us. It doesn't look like this version has the wheels though, okay? So maybe it's just intended to be in a flying position, okay? That's why you got the stand, so that it's perpetually in flight, okay? I don't know. Would wheels have enhanced the thing as well? It might have, okay? But I also got to thinking, and I kind of remember earlier when I mentioned that a big part of the reason why this thing reminds me of a bathtub, okay? of a bathtub is because as I recall, the Wind Raider, the original one, was also advertised as being able to operate in the water, okay, like a watercraft, all right? And that's probably the reason why as well. I keep thinking of a bath toy when I think of this thing. And you know what? It's been a couple of years since I've actually had the vintage Wind Raider, and I don't have it right now anymore in my collection. But if I remember correctly, the main body of the vehicle was made up of this really soft, kind of almost squeezable plastic, kind of like a shampoo bottle, all right? And I could be wrong, but I don't think I am. And it's also probably a big part of the reason why I keep thinking that it's something that you just play with in the water, all right? That's probably also how it was probably intended to be played with, in the 80s, okay? But if any of you guys out there have the original Wind Raider, maybe just leave a comment here and just, confirm if it was indeed, if the body was indeed made out of this very soft kind of plastic, Also, that's another upgrade that we can look forward to here in this new version. Namely that they will be using stronger and more durable plastics for the entire vehicle, and we can also hope that the wings are going to be much more better attached and the tabs do not break off so easily. Also, the grappling hook and the winch feature is probably going to work a lot smoother too on this new upgrade. all in, I think that this thing is definitely going to be hitting the sweet spot for a lot of you fans out there. Like I said, I've never really felt a connection to the Wind Raider, but it is something that grows on you, especially when you've been exposed to it so much. And I have to say that the ability of this new toy to be able to achieve so much more, especially in terms of how you could pose it with the included display stand, has really convinced me that I'm definitely going to be able to appreciate this thing a lot more. So that's the video, guys. You know what? I want to thank you for joining me again. I do want to hear from you guys in the comment section, especially if you've ever owned the original Wind Raider. I'm sure, hey, come on, I'm sure a whole ton of you out there still probably has the toy in your collection right now. So let me know what your feelings are on the original and what your feelings are on this new version that's coming out in the Origin series. I just got to thinking that we've not been exposed to the cardback artwork on the back of this thing's box yet. All right, so for all we know, those mysterious flying vehicles that are pursuing He-Man, we might be able to see a glimpse of them, or maybe all of them more clearly in the cardback artwork that's going to be on the back of this thing's box. All right, so hey, more things to look forward to, right? Thank you again, guys. I do want to hear from you, so hit me up in the comment section. Take care.